Today, we're diving into a crucial topic. Back in early 2020, I shared a video titled "Why I No Longer Use a Debit Card," and now, almost a year and a half later, it's time for an update. Now, you've probably noticed that metal credit cards are the latest trend, right? Well, let's take advantage of this symbol, metal, to make an analogy. Let me show you what a credit card is to me. To me, a credit card is like a tool. It can be a great tool if used properly, with not only financial knowledge but also emotional intelligence. With it, you can cook up some amazing dishes. But in the wrong hands, this tool turns into a weapon that can steal your peace of mind, rob you of sleep, chip away at your freedom, and even land you in legal trouble. So let's look at both sides of the coin. Do I still use credit cards? The answer is yes, but only because I've learned my lesson. I was once that person who used a credit card like a monkey with a hammer. And unsurprisingly, it landed me in a lot of trouble. I can say this openly. Mishandling credit cards gave me a trauma I never want to repeat. But just because I fell off the horse once doesn't mean I'm done riding. I fell, but I got back up. It took me a couple of years to recover from the mountain of credit card debt I had piled up. But I learned how to fix it. Thankfully, you can negotiate with banks, either through restructuring or debt settlement. It's your choice. After some time, I cleaned up my credit, and yes, I was offered another credit card. But this time, I was prepared to use it. That's something people don't usually talk about, how we're handed these powerful tools, but we're not trained to use them. So I learned the hard way how to use a credit card, and I still have one. But here's the most important rule. If you're going to use a credit card, you have to be a totaler. If you can't be a totaler, then credit cards are not for you. It could end very badly. Being a totaler means never paying the minimum ever. You must always pay the full amount each month without delay. So why do I still use credit cards? First, because it helps me generate wealth. I use my credit card to pay for assets and investments that make me money. I always pay after the billing cycle, so I have 45 days to pay off what I spent. In this way, I'm the one riding the bank's money, not the other way around, and that's a huge advantage. The second reason is just as important. Using credit cards helps me protect my money, the money that's sitting in my bank account. I avoid taking debit cards out into the world. No way. I only carry credit cards with limited protected amounts and insurance. You might be wondering, why is one piece of plastic safer than the other? Well, because with a credit card, it's the bank's money, and they are incredibly careful with it. Another reason I use credit cards is that they give me access to services that debit cards either can't or make difficult, like renting a car or making certain online purchases. And finally, the reason that mattered most to me a few years ago, the credit score. I'll be honest, I couldn't care less about my credit score now. I have the means to stand on my own 2 feet. But here's the bad news, the part you won't like. Studies show that credit cards limit rational decision-making. In other words, we spend more and act less rationally with credit cards. There are countless studies and experiments proving this, like one where people at a dinner were more frugal when paying with cash. When paying with credit cards, they spent more because there was no emotional attachment to the money. You see, when you hand over cash, there's a psychological link to what you're giving up, but with a credit card, there's no link, no pain, no sense of loss. And here's where things get interesting. When you pay with a credit card, you focus only on the benefits and completely disconnect from the pain of spending. It's wild, right? So, as we've seen, 3 psychological reasons make us spend more with credit cards. First, we disconnect from the pain and loss. Second, we focus solely on the benefits. And third, paying with a credit card makes purchases so much easier. It becomes impulsive, and that's a problem, especially when we fall into the trap of zero-interest months. We bite the bait and convince ourselves it's a good deal. Sometimes it is, but other times, it's just a financial disguise. The key difference lies in what we're buying. If we're buying assets that make us more money, fantastic. But if we're buying things that don't add value to our lives, that's a financial trap. So there you have it, my update on this controversial topic. You need not only financial intelligence, but also emotional stability to handle credit cards. If you're in a good financial position where your highest credit card bill won't exceed 10% of your income, then sure, use a credit card. But if not, avoid it. Learn how to manage your finances gradually because it's a risk. And that's it for today's episode. See you next time.